So you slept together for the first time and it feels like you're getting closer. But actually what happened is that there is more distance between you coming from your partner. So you start to be the one that actually reach out, that sends the text, and you wonder what you did wrong. The thing is, you probably did nothing wrong. So let's talk about like this distance that could happen after you sleep with someone, because it usually means one of two things. So there is one thing that you have to realize is that if there is some distance that starts to happen after you slept together, it's not necessarily related to the performance of the thing. So it's actually something else. And this is actually something I already talked about in the previous video where I was talking about how like someone can just disappear after the first date. Well, this is kind of like almost the same thing, but it's kind of like the same reason. Someone getting like colder or putting like some distance after you slept together, that will be the same reason. And that reason is that now things are kind of like getting serious. So I'm not saying they're getting serious like you're getting like together, you're gonna get married or whatever, but serious in the sense that the stakes goes higher. So in the previous video when I was talking about like how people disappear after the first date, is because the first date went too well. So it went too well, so they was kind of like scared of like, okay, maybe they're like just avoidant and they just want to be like that close to someone and you were like too close and they just go away. Now it's kind of like the same thing, not exactly the same, but kind of. Because if you reach the point where you sleep together, like sleep together is like really getting intimate. So you cannot, unless this is a one-night stand, of course, you cannot get intimate with someone that you start to see without this amplifying the relationship. Like it does not go like, oh, you're seeing each other and you're kind of like dating, you sleep together and it stays the same. No, like after you sleep together for the first time, it changed something. Not crazy thing, it's not something that you have to talk about, but it actually changed the dimension of the relationship. And this could kind of scare some people because not everyone is the same, and this could be a lot. Like some people can realize that, okay, now it starts to getting into something again. Not saying that you're gonna get married, but it gets into something a little bit more serious, you know, a little bit like you're closer to that person, it means a little bit more. So they kind of start to think maybe, well, is it the right decision? Do I really want that? Etc. So that could be the reason why they start to get distant, because all of a sudden, well, things get real and they're like, okay, am I ready for something that's real? Do I want something that's real? Is this the kind of real that I want? So this is the kind of different things that could go through their mind, and that will explain why they put that distance. So with what I just said, we can put that in two categories. So as I said, it's most likely like two things. Either they're most likely avoidant, and getting intimate means that you're getting closer in a fastest way. And well, as avoidant people, they're kind of like a little bit scared about that. So they start to think about that. The other case, and well, this one is not the best one, they just kind of like chase you. They just wanted to reach that point, you know? They were like interested about you and they reached the point where you slept together, and then they kind of like not lose total interest, but they kind of like the interest like dropped down because they were like, okay, what's next? And the goal was not necessarily to see something long-term. So this could be like the two different reasons, but they come from the same root of like sleeping together. Well, increase the closeness with like the other person, increase the weight of the relationship into your feeling, your energy and everything, even though you don't say it out loud. Like even though like after like sleeping together, you don't necessarily be like, okay, this relationship is like something bigger. I know that this happens sometimes, you know, like some people like sleep together and then they just start to be like, okay, what are we right now? Well, you can do that. I don't necessarily recommend doing this at this exact moment, but you get the point. Like we know that after sleeping together, something shifts a little bit, not crazy shift, but something shift. And this could lead to those two outcomes if people get distant right after. Now, the real question is, what do you do with that? How do you deal with that? Well, there is same thing as every time, communication. But before communication, you have to observe. Like again, as I'm saying, is that you don't necessarily listen to what your partner say, you look at how they behave. So after you slept together for like, let's say a week, because you cannot see that like right after, like the same night or like the next day, I mean, maybe the next day, but let pass like a full week. And depending on their behavior, you could actually know in which category of those two that I explained to you they are in. So After that week, check the behaviors. If they're kind of like distant, but they still, you know, like communicate, they still try to be there, they still, you can feel that there is a distance, but it's more distance because they're kind of like, I would not say like lost, but they're kind of like thinking about it or overthinking. This is most likely the first category. Not saying that they are necessarily avoidant, but maybe that, okay, that was kind of like a lot. They need to process the information, they need to talk about it. And then you can see that after a week, maybe, I'm not saying it's going back to normal, but then after that week, you can start to like talk about that. Be like, okay, I feel that you're a little bit distant, what's going on? And well, if they're like good with you and looking for like long term, they might just open up and discuss with you and be real with you, being like, okay, that was a little bit like a lot, okay, etc. I'm not sure about this, that. You can talk about that. So that's the first case, which I will call like the good scenario, is that there is no distance after you sleep together. But we are in the case where there is distance, so we talk about that. So this is the good scenario. The bad scenario, which, well, technically it's bad, is that the person got distant more and more. And so like after the week, you kind of like see that their behavior is like just distant and cold, and they don't even try a little bit to make it like nice in some way, or like warm, or try to get back. And this lasts for, well, as I said, like a good week. Then in both cases, ideally after that week of observation, have this calm conversation, like sit down and try to talk about that, like bring the stuff. Okay, what's going on? I realize that you're a little bit distant. It makes me feel that way. Do you have a reason for that? Maybe, I don't know, you're busy with work, whatever. You ask them to open up. And then again, you see their answer and their behavior. If they're like, okay, there's this reason, this is the reason why I was a little bit distant, etc. You can talk about that. You can fix this. That's good, you do it. If you see that they don't really give you an answer, they're like, okay, yeah, I don't know. Oh yeah, maybe that was this reason. We're most likely in the second case, especially if during that week, they did not even try a little bit to be like close to you. Then it's most likely like the second case, and well, you know what to do in that case. So if there's one thing to remember from that video, is that someone getting cold after you sleep together does not necessarily mean that it was bad or that they don't like you anymore, they don't want to see you anymore. This could be like many reasons, and especially right after. So take the time to check what's going on after a little bit of time, not the next day, not the same night or day. Like let it cool down like for a week and check their behaviors, talk about that, see their reaction, see their behaviors. And based on that, you can take your decision to see if that's something that you can work together on and like grow the relationship, or if you just like, okay, let me save my time and energy and stop this now because it looks like this person is not in a position in their life that they want to do something more with me. Depends on your goal, of course, you decide, but then you will have all the answer in your hand to be able to. If this video was somehow helpful, please consider liking it and subscribing to the channel. I see you soon for another one, and until then, take care and drink your water.